Imagine you're sitting alone at night and your mind starts spinning. What if you lose your job? What if your friend is angry with you? What if something terrible happens tomorrow? Nothing has happened yet, but your heart is racing. Your stomach tightens and you feel trapped inside your own head. That is the strange trick of anxiety. It makes you live in a future that doesn't even exist.
It's not danger that's attacking you, it's imagination dressed up as disaster. But there's a way out, and it doesn't come from forcing yourself to think positive or repeating empty affirmations. It comes from something much older, a practice that monks, warriors, and philosophers have used for centuries, training the mind to stay where the body already is. Anxiety is the mind's time machine. It takes you from the present moment and throws you into a future filled with imaginary crises. You start rehearsing conversations that haven't happened, predicting failures that might never come, and solving problems that don't even exist yet. The more you think, the deeper you go into this mental labyrinth. But the key to breaking the loop isn't by thinking harder, it's by noticing that you left the present. A monk might say, the first step in mastering worry is naming it. When a wave of anxious thoughts appears, you don't fight it. You simply acknowledge it. There is a future thought. That one sentence shifts you from being inside the thought to observing it. Once you can observe it, it loses its grip. You start to see worry as something your mind does, not something you are. Imagine someone standing in a thunderstorm. At first they panic. The thunder is loud, the rain is heavy. But then they realize the storm is passing over them. They are not the storm. The mind works the same way. When you step back and label your worry instead of wrestling with it, you move from chaos to clarity. That's when the next technique comes in. Something psychologists call worry time. Chronic worriers often believe that the only way to stop worrying is to solve every thought immediately. But that's like trying to clean the ocean one wave at a time. The act of reacting strengthens the cycle. The more you feed the thought with attention, the more it returns. The worry time method reverses that pattern. You pick a specific time each day, say 5 km, where you give yourself permission to worry for 15 minutes. Whenever anxious thoughts arise during the day, you don't suppress them. You write them down on a note and tell yourself, I'll deal with this during worry time. What you're doing is training your brain that anxiety doesn't get instant attention. It has a schedule, and that schedule isn't now. Here's where the magic happens. When worry time finally arrives, and you look at that list of worries, most of them no longer feel urgent. Some even seem silly. The distance between the thought and the reaction has weakened its power. You've replaced reactivity with structure, emotion with observation. Over time, your brain learns that not every thought deserves a response. And that simple shift can change everything. But even when you've separated your worries by time, the mind will still try to weave stories, because that is what the human mind does best. It mixes truth with imagination until they become one tangled mess. That's where the fact versus story technique becomes vital. Let's take a simple example. Your boss sends you a message that says, "We need to talk tomorrow." Instantly, your mind starts spinning a story. I'm in trouble. I messed something up. I might get fired. Your body reacts as if it's true. The fact is only this. Your boss said, "We need to talk tomorrow." That's it. Everything else is fiction created by your mind. By separating fact from story, you strip anxiety of its fuel. You ask, what do I actually know for sure right now? And what am I imagining? When you force your mind to answer those questions, you expose how often fear disguises itself as logic. And once the illusion is revealed, it loses its weight. Monks train for years to do this instinctively. to see thoughts as clouds passing through the sky of awareness. They don't chase every cloud, they watch them drift and disappear. You can do the same. The next time anxiety grips you, pause and separate the event from the interpretation. The event is real, the story is optional. Still, sometimes anxiety isn't just in the head, it's in the body. Your chest tightens, your heart races, your breath shortens.
That's when most people panic. They feel something wrong happening inside them and try to fight it. But that's like struggling against quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink.
This is where the practice of non-engagement comes in. It sounds counterintuitive, but when you feel anxious, the best thing to do is nothing. You let the sensations exist without trying to fix them. You notice your racing heart, your sweaty palms, your shallow breath, and you allow them to be. You breathe deeply, using your diaphragm to slow the body down, and you remind yourself, this is temporary, this is a wave. Anxiety is like an ocean wave, and it rises, peaks, and falls. If you can ride it without thrashing, it passes. If you resist it, it grows. Monks often use the image of sitting on a riverbank. The thoughts are the water. You don't jump in, you just watch them flow. This detachment teaches the nervous system that the sensations of fear are not dangerous. They are simply energy moving through. The more you practice, the shorter those waves become, until one day you realize that they never really had control in the first place. This idea of not fighting your emotions is the opposite of what most of us are taught. We're told to suppress, distract, or push through. But the mind doesn't calm down by force, it calms down by permission. When you let fear exist without giving it a story, it dissolves on its own. And that leads to the final step, training the mind for resilience. Because the goal isn't to eliminate worry, it is to change your relationship with it. You can't stop your mind from producing thoughts, just like you can't stop your heart from beating. But you can decide whether to believe those thoughts or let them drift by. Every time you delay reacting to a worry, every time you label a thought instead of living inside it, every time you breathe through panic instead of fighting it, you are building a new neural pathway. You are literally rewiring your brain for calm. Neuroscience now confirms what monks discovered centuries ago. Mindfulness reshapes the structure of the brain. Areas linked to fear and stress shrink, while those linked to focus and empathy grow stronger. The more you practice, the more natural peace becomes. Think of it like building muscle. The first few times it feels impossible. Your mind runs wild, your body resists. But you stay with it, you breathe, you watch, you label. And slowly the storms lose their thunder. The waves still come, but they no longer throw you off balance. You begin to realize that peace was never something you had to find. It was something you had to uncover, buried beneath the noise of endless thought. You can test this in small, daily ways. The next time you're stuck in traffic, instead of getting frustrated, notice your breath. Feel the tension in your shoulders, then release it. The next time you're waiting for bad news, label your thoughts. There is a fear thought. The next time your chest tightens for no reason, don't run. Sit still. Let it pass. Each small act is a training session for your mind, each repetition a step toward freedom. Eventually, worry stops feeling like an enemy and starts looking like a teacher. It shows you where your attachments are, where you are trying to control what can be controlled. In Zen, they say that fear is the cost of wanting the future to behave. The moment you stop demanding that the future cooperate with your plans, you begin to live freely. That's the ultimate secret. Anxiety doesn't disappear when life gets perfect. It disappears when you stop demanding that life be any different than it is right now. When you can sit with the uncertainty, breathe through the discomfort, and stay grounded in what's real, the mind loses its need to travel through time. So if you're living with constant worry, start here. Don't fight the thoughts. Label them. Don't believe every fear. Separate fact from story. Don't chase calm. Create space for it. The more you practice, the less power anxiety has to control you. Because in the end, peace isn't the absence of noise, it's the mastery of it. And if this story helped you see anxiety in a new light, take a second to pause. Breathe. Then like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to The Fictionist, where we uncover how ancient wisdom and modern minds meet to build a quieter, stronger world.